Hello, my name is Trudy, and I'm one of the creators of Design Packs, a Shopify app that allows you to add sections and templates to your existing Shopify theme. I'm also a developer who runs an agency called Up@5, and I started using Design Packs for my own Shopify development. I wanted to do a little presentation on how easy it is to create custom looks with Design Packs and just a little knowledge of CSS. With Design Packs, you get a great base, and you can work off of that and not have to worry about all the little details like animations and making you're optimizing your images and stuff, because it's all there, and then you can just add the style. So we're looking at Sunday Farms, which is the site that I actually built based on designs that a designer had given me. And I just looked at this and I was like, oh, this is, if you are familiar with Shopify development at all, making this in CSS and HTML is maybe not that bad, but then trying to make it editable and make it into a section in the Shopify way is like very difficult, because you'd want each of these things to be a block, but then you can't really, because you want each column to be a block, and so you can't have blocks inside of blocks. So then all you have left is a rich text editor, which is obviously not going to give you this much control over the thing. Well, at least the Shopify one doesn't. So I was like, oh, this is going to be really difficult. But I looked at this and it kind of looked like the horizontal value icons, and so I was like, let's see what we can do. So I mocked up something similar looking with the horizontal value icons that's more about hair, because that's my interest, that looks similar and has the same sort of thing, but as you can see, it's like you just aren't getting that same sort of style as you would normally, or as you did in that design. So yeah, so this is about as far as you can go with just using the theme editor with Shopify, because the rich text editor is very minimal. We can go over here so you can see, as you can see, it's already mobile responsive. That's just out of the box. If we go to the section, you can see you can have bold, maybe italic, add a link, but you can't change fonts or have a lot of fine granular styles added. But luckily with Design Packs, because we're so developer focused, because we are ourselves developers, we added the ability to put in some custom CSS and some mobile custom CSS. And this is scoped just to each section, so you don't have to worry about any of these styles affecting the rest of it. And you can see, if you look in the code, we ID it to the ID of the section. And in the CSS, you don't have to worry about even knowing that, because we also scope the CSS to that ID as well. So there's no spillage, you don't have to think about it. So if we go, and then obviously you can see all of the styles here. So you can see like Design Pack small heading, and then you'll see also here that the rich text editor is like Design Pack text or RT rich text editor. But then also each of these things come as P tags. Like every line break that we have creates a P tag within the editor. So that's basically what we have to work with. So then I took that sort of knowledge and information and decided to start adding styles. So with the small heading, I'm not going to type because it's just annoying and I make a lot of typos. But so if you just like put this in here, copy and paste it in, now you can see I've added like a border bottom, some padding. I've increased the font size to a specific size that I wanted, and I centered the text. And right away, I think it already has like just like a little bit more style and personality. And then for all the other styles for within the text that you can see here, I'm just using nth-type or first-of-type selectors to select everything. So, and I find that I don't normally use this selector that often, but now with Design Packs, it's become one of my go-to selector options. So in this case, I've added sort of a different font and some different sizing. So then we can add here. And you can see now, change the fonts, change the sizing, change the letter spacing and the line height, so it has some specific style. Then I'm going to select the second one, make it stand out a little bit more. nth-type 2. Boom. Now you can 3. I'm just going to make this almost like, bigger and with another line to like separate it so you can see like this is a section. So we're kind of making a comparison chart, which again is like quite difficult in the context of Shopify, in the context of sections, because you don't have that many. You have like the section itself and then you have blocks, but you can't do blocks within blocks, so it becomes a little bit of an issue. Now, if this was just not 3 columns long, it would be much easier. We could just do it with the theme editor, but because we're doing 3 across, it just becomes more difficult. And then we're basically going to do the same with the next 3. So the next one, we're going to do monospace again. Oh, and I just realized I should point out that on this, I'm also doing a border bottom. That's why the lines show up. One thing to note, though, is that you might think, oh, I'm repeating the styles, so that I should just probably be able to, instead of doing like 3 and 5, which are the same styles, I could just do a comma here and then select that. The unfortunate thing is we can't, because it's scoped to the ID of the section, it doesn't actually work. So you do have to repeat a little bit, which is, nothing's perfect. But this makes it a lot better. And then again, we're just gonna add those same styles to the 6th element. And now you can see like, wow, we have like so much more style in just such a small amount of time. And then if we go to the actual size, so I refresh here and boom, like it already looks like 1,000,000 times better. It just like stands out more. It's getting your point across. It's more readable. So now if we go back here, we're already in mobile mode, but let's just make it actually mobile mode. And so the one thing, it looks fine actually, but I feel like just the sizing is a little off. One thing I thought, I was like, this spacing, like I like it being wide here, but the top part, I just wanted it to be a little tighter. So I selected the heading, which I didn't select in the top part, and just made it a little bit like just 80% width and added a margin bottom. And then for most of the other things, I'm just changing the padding and the font size to be a little bit more small for the mobile experience. So this is not really that interesting, but just a little copy paste. And so now we have a nicer mobile experience where it's a nicer size for mobile. I'm going to save this, and then we can look at the desktop, which this is more like what it'll look like on tablet, and then the full screen. And there we have it. We have such a nice thing, very little work. Let's go look at the CSS again. If you are quite comfortable with CSS, this is going to be very easy. And now, yes, the user, your customer, will have to put the content in this exact order, but that's fairly easy to explain to a merchant. And also, they're probably not going to change this that much, or they're just going to change little details of it. And I think they'll be able to figure it out. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult. And often other ways to do these things are just probably more difficult for merchants anyway, because, in Shopify in the past, we've had to do some hacky things. Anyway, so that was my little demonstration on just how to make a nice comparison chart with the horizontal value icons and just a touch of CSS to add your own little bit of style.